Good day. I'm here with the owner and sole director of Tribers Compliance
Partners.
Partners, and he's going to tell me a little bit about his business and how he got started. So, Mr. Lenny, can you tell me some of the processes that you went through to actually get your business started?
Try to wrap this up real quickly because I know I've got a short time frame. Basically, I did a quick market study as to what's needed and to see what product is in the most demand. Once I've compiled a good understanding of that, I therefore looked at the processes in regards to completing or forming the company itself. Which therefore, of course, you have to go through the typical licensing and trade and business licensing process, and I worked mainly with a local registered office company to help put that in place for me. I had to get the fundings to be able to provide that, which was I took funds that I had saved over the years, and also some entrepreneur investments to be able to get where I am now, and then I put that all into the business itself. So it took me pretty much a year almost to kind of get the business going, and to get it to the point where I'm starting to make income. So that's where I'm at in regards to getting the company started.
Okay, so you've mentioned about funding. So is funding a really important part of the business? Like for you to get it started, was it hard for you to gain all of this what's the word, capital?
Capital?
Yeah.
For me, it depends on the size of company that you want to be and what you're looking at. What I would say for any young entrepreneurs trying to get themselves started, if you don't have the funding in place, I would definitely try to seek a seed investor, and talk to them and see about putting money in helping you with your product. But mainly, for me, I kind of knew what I wanted, and basically, I had an idea of to say that I needed at least a year or two of capital monies to be able to foresee me through, meaning paying my salary. If I was in an office, a place, I had to pay for rent. So basically, at the end of the day, the operational aspects, I had to make sure I had funds covering that. So the capital interjection, you need a budget for that long period of time, the minimum of 2 years. And again, depends on how quickly you want to get into a market, what type of product you have. You may have a product that's readily available. Fortunately, mine was. So it only took me, after a year, it took me within a few months to get it really up and going, and started to get the income. So it depends on the product. You need to understand that.
Okay, so once you actually settled in and your business had started, can you tell me a little bit about your marketing process?
For my product, a lot of it was more so word of mouth. I went out and I did a lot of pavement, beating the pavement aspects, knocking on doors, calling on people that I knew in the industry, and started to try to do specific works around those particular areas to try to get my name out there, because within my line of business it's all about reputation, and if you don't have the proper reputation behind you won't be able to get the client base, right? So I knew again where the market needed this particular product, and then knocked on those doors and presented my business cards, presented the business profile, presented profiles around myself, my staff members, and then I also went on places like LinkedIn and I started sending out the links to the business itself, because I had a huge portfolio of contacts in there, and I started to push that out through them. And I also started to get involved in a lot of the areas that particularly that focused on my business itself. So for instance, the certain associations and so forth. So again, it was all about making sure my name popped up everywhere possible. I also put together seminars again that help to therefore get recognition, because now you have more of a one-on-one basis. Again, for my particular business, that worked because now people are able to question me, see me as who I am, and understand that I have a great knowledge of my product and how my product can help them on a day-to-day business. So the marketing was really more so a lot of groundwork for me, and then a lot of social network through Facebook and LinkedIn.
Okay, that's good. That's very interesting to hear. So just for the point of this interview, can you tell us a little bit more about your product and the services that you offer, just so anyone that's not clear could understand?
Yeah, sure. So my company is all about compliance services. I provide AML compliance appointment officers under the new regulations and laws, the AML laws. There's a requirement to have a AML compliance officer, money laundering reporting officer, and a deputy money laundering reporting officer. And these individuals have to be an individual, not a company. And as such, this is now a new requirement. So a lot of the companies out there now that are caught, which include like jewelry stores, real estate companies locally, those companies now including, of course, the typical financial industries, companies are required to have these appointed officers. And as such, my company provides those appointed officers. I also help clients around their AML, their manuals, their policy and procedure manuals. I've been helping a lot of the local companies get themselves aligned with the new data protection law. So again, we're going out doing the analysis on where they're holding the data, what data they're holding, what information they're holding on individuals. Because under the new law, it's all about individuals. It's not about companies, right? So they need to make sure that the companies need to make sure that they're now following this particular law. So I help companies around that, and also help, and I also made some other products specifically around that to help, again, the local companies who don't have compliance officers to be able to become almost like their compliance officer specifically for that role. I also do outsourcing for small companies who don't have a compliance officer or a dedicated compliance officer, but don't have the resources to be able to point that to hire a person full time. Right? So I provide that again for those particular individuals. There's also one of our other products is also the FACA CRS. Reporting responsibilities, so we take those roles on as well. And then I got a couple other products that are coming into play in the near future. One of them will be in regards to doing a compilation of documents for clients and then having that represented to different local banks and registered offices or any other local business that are dealing with. Then I'll represent them on those different regards.
Okay, so you're basically a company that provides a specialized service. So you don't really have physical products.
Not a physical product. The product is actually a service.
It's a service.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for that.
A specific service. That's correct.
Okay. So thank you for that. Can we just close this interview off by stating what kind of advice you would give to a young Caymanian that would like to become his own boss, become a new entrepreneur here in the Cayman Islands?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's there's lots of opportunities out there, and people are seeing it every day. Caymanians, unfortunately, it seems unfortunate last one catching on to these things. What I would say is, if you see something that you are driven with, that you really like, and that you have a heart for, I would say pursue it. If not right at the very start, take your time, understand it, see where it fits in, see what downfalls and what upbringings can happen with it, and just pursue it. There's a lot of opportunities out there. A lot of people are taking advantage of the situations that are popping up on a day-to-day basis here. So I would say, definitely Caymanians push to try to get into this and try to get into these particular areas, because Cayman is still growing. We're a small island, but there's still a lot of opportunities out there that are overlooked, or that somebody else is taking advantage of. And I don't see why any locals or young Caymanians can't jump into these particular roles and take on these particular requirements.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lenny, for your time today, and thank you for the information that you provided.
Not a problem. Anytime.
Okay. Thank you.
Hope it works.